Hi everybody, my name is Fred. Welcome back to Personal Time Outdoors. Today's video is going to be the debrief video for the trip that my wife and I took several weeks ago to the Vanhook Falls Trail, which is in the Daniel Boone National Forest near London, Kentucky. That trail is about a 10-mile lollipop style trail, and it has a little bit of everything. There's a few waterfalls that you pass. There's Vanhook Falls itself that you encounter, and there are several rock formations as well as the Rockcastle River that you get to hike along. Now, the one thing about this trail is that we found that the campsites seem to be a little bit limited, especially if you're tent camping like we did. Now, if you're hammock camping, you probably have a few more options, but the established sites that are flat enough to use for tent camping, we found to be a little bit limited. So stick around. Towards the end of the video, I am going to give you the information on the campsites that I did come across to make it a little easier if you do plan on camping in this area. So let's go to the map now and I'll take you through everything. I'm going to start off here with a look at Google Maps just to give you an idea of where Vanhook Falls Trail is in relation to London, Kentucky. London is over here, and the trailhead is right here where this red marker is. So you can see it's just a straight shot down this Route 192 to get to the trailhead. And I would say it probably takes maybe 20 minutes to a half-hour drive to get from where we were staying here near the highway down to the trailhead. So let me zoom in here real quick and I'll show you where the parking area is. So as you come down 192, you'll see a parking area over here along this road that's marked 1193. Just as you pass this intersection, it'll come right into view. So you just park your vehicle over here and you walk across the street and the trailhead starts right here. So let me switch over to the trail map to show you the rest of this. So this is the trail map that is available on All Trails. So if you subscribe to All Trails or if you use All Trails, you can use that app to navigate on this trail. So as I just showed you on the Google map, the trailhead starts right here, right across the road from that parking area. And as I've mentioned previously, this is a lollipop style trail. So as you can see, this kind of, would represent the stick of the lollipop, and then this, would be the top of the lollipop. That's where it gets its name. So what you're basically going to do is you're going to hike in, along this portion of the trail, and then you're going to do the loop, and then you're going to come back out the same way. So this first portion of the trail is actually really nice and really well maintained. I think there's a lot of day hikers that go to Vanhook Falls. So this trail sees a lot of use and it's really easy to navigate. It's nice and wide and well kept. So as you hike in, you will pass a few small waterfalls that'll be kind of on this side of the trail. They're pretty nice. They're worth stopping and checking out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come to Vanhook Falls itself. And the falls is right where, I guess, the stick of the lollipop, if you will, meets the loop. So you're going to run into Vanhook Falls here. So after you check that out, you've got the option to hike the loop in a clockwise direction or a counterclockwise direction. We decided to go in a counterclockwise direction. So we headed up this way. And the reason being that we chose this direction is I knew that I wanted to camp somewhere here along the Rockcastle River, which is right over here. So I figured we'd get a good chunk of that trail done day one, and then run into some areas hopefully where we would find a campsite. Now I will say that the loop portion of this trail is a little bit rougher than that stick portion that I was talking about earlier. It's a little bit less well maintained and a little bit less traveled. So you do have, a few more areas where the weeds are higher and you kind of have to walk through them. I wouldn't exactly say it's bushwhacking, but it is a little bit, not as well kept. But you'll have no problems navigating it, especially if you're using a GPS app or All Trails. The trail markers are a little bit sparse. But there are some trail markers there. You just have to kind of keep your eyes peeled for them. So we really didn't see a lot of campsites for this whole section of the trail. There, maybe were like one or two, but nothing really great and nothing near any water. Now, when we did come down to the area where we did meet the Rockcastle River, there was a campsite, I believe, right in this area. And that was before I decided to kind of keep track of the campsites that I did see. So I didn't write down the GPS coordinates or take any photos or anything. But if I remember correctly, it was kind of right where we kind of first saw our first view of the river. So keep that in mind. If you are hiking in that direction, you should see a campsite somewhere around in this area here. Now, the best campsites that we did see are kind of along the river here. And then as you kind of make the turn here, they're kind of along, there's like a creek along here. There's some campsites here, and I'm going to go into more detail on those here in just a second. Now, we did spend one night along the river, and we did plan to hike further and find another campsite, but we really didn't have a lot of luck finding one that would work for us. And, when I talk about the campsites, I'll kind of tell you why. So we ended up not camping, on the trail the second night. So we actually hiked back to the car, and we went to a nearby campground called B Rock Campground. And I'll show you where that is, before we end the video in case you want to use that as an option. Now, when I was researching this trail, I tried to find information online on available campsites, and I really had a tough time. There really just isn't a ton out there about it. So as we were hiking, I decided that I was going to record what I could find so that I could share it with you in my debrief video. So what I'm going to do here is I've got some photos that I took of the campsites. I'll give you a little bit of a description of what I saw there, and then I'll also give you the GPS coordinates up here on the screen. So if you want those coordinates, just pause the video and copy them down, or I'll put them in the video description as well. Okay, so let's talk about the campsites. The first campsite I'm going to talk about is the one we actually stayed at our first night, which is right here. So I'm going to give you some shots of that campsite and throw up the GPS coordinates here. To be honest with you, overall, I think that was probably the nicest campsite that we did see along the trail. So if you are going to hike this loop and you do want to camp, I would highly recommend this campsite. It was fairly close to the river, and you had a nice little trail that went down to a beach. And there was some great scenery at the river. You were right up to the huge boulders that line the river. So it was a very scenic spot, and we did enjoy that campsite a lot. So on day number 2, we did continue hiking in our counterclockwise direction, and we came to this campsite here that I have labeled Camp Along the Trail. And the reason why I named it that is the campsite is literally right next to the trail. There's a small fire ring. You've got room for tents, but it's literally right next to the trail. So I didn't like that. We didn't really feel like that's someplace we wanted to camp. So we continued. And then the next campsite is this one that I have labeled on the map here as camp number 2. And this campsite looked like it was pretty nice. The problem was finding a way to actually get to it. You can see in the photo here, you can see the fire ring kind of far off in the distance. And the problem is that, from the trail, it was a really steep bank to climb down to get down to where that fire ring was. So initially we thought, well, maybe there's a way that you could get in from the sides. But the problem is that the brush and weeds were really overgrown. And, I kind of had ticks in the back of my mind. I really didn't want to go traipsing through all that. And it just looked like it was not going to be a lot of fun to get to. So that's why we decided to pass on that one. So moving along down the trail, the next one we came to is this one that I have labeled as camp number 3. And this campsite is actually on this northern side of the trail here. And it's a small little campsite. It had a really nice fire ring, and it had some nice rocks around it. The problem with it was that it really wasn't a good spot to put a tent. I think if you had a hammock, this would be kind of a really nice place to camp. But with a tent, I really didn't see a good spot to put my tent in. So we decided that this wasn't going to work for us either. But other than that, like I said, if you have a hammock, you might want to check this one out. So after that, we really did not see another campsite till we were almost all the way back to Vanhook Falls. And this campsite here was actually a pretty nice campsite. It was right near the water, so that was really good. The problem with it was it was on a hill, and I really could not find a flat spot to put my tent. We probably walked around this campsite for a half hour, looking at different places to put our tent because we really wanted to stay here. But no matter what I came up with, we were going to be sleeping on a pretty good hill, and I didn't want to do that. Now I will say that if I had a one-person tent, a smaller tent than what we have, I probably could have made it work a little bit easier. But with a wider tent, it was, if I found an area where one person was going to be in a good area, then the other person was going to be laying on top of some roots or something like that. So, like I said, we really tried to make it work. Maybe you would have better luck than I did. Definitely check it out. I mean, it is a nice campsite. Other than that, maybe, like I said, you can find a better way to make it work than I did, especially if you have a hammock. Beyond that, there was one campsite that we did see along the stick portion of the loop here. The problem with it was that there was a trail that went down to it. It was a little bit off the trail, kind of, a little bit down a ravine, but there was a huge blowdown right across it. So we were going to have to really hike around this blowdown, and it just didn't look like it was going to be too easy to get to. So at this point, we were kind of, almost back to the car anyway. So we had kind of decided that we were going to go with plan B and go to B Rock Campground anyway. So that's kind of why we passed up on it. Speaking of B Rock Campground, let me just switch back to Google Maps here so I can show you how close it is to where the trailhead is. Okay, so we're back on the Google Maps street map now. And here's the trailhead that I showed you earlier. If you want to go to B Rock Campground, you just continue down this Route 192 or West Laurel Road as they have it labeled here. And when you come to the Rockcastle River right here, it's probably only maybe a 10-minute drive at best, is where you're going to find B Rock Campground. Now, there are two sides of the campground. There's an entrance on this side of the river, which is where we stayed. And then there's another entrance. You go across a bridge here. There's another entrance over here if you want to stay on this side of the river. And from what I could see, we did drive down both sections. This northern side here, it seems like it's more well suited for campers and RVs. Whereas the campsites on this side, I mean, you could park by your campsite, but you did have to walk up a little bit. So it seems like for tent campers, this is the side of the campground that you want to stay on over here. So it was a nice campground, and they do have a bridge that does cross the Rockcastle River that does connect both sides. It's a footbridge only. You can walk across. But to drive, you do have to use one of these two entrances. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you're a planner like me, I hope you find this information useful. I try to make one of these debrief videos for each of my trips just to make it a little easier for people in case they want to visit the area. So if you like that kind of content, I would ask that you please consider subscribing to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching today. Have a great day.